Good morning. Today is Tuesday. Anyway, I was looking at my Facebook and I read stuff that comes through the whatever. What do you call that? Feed. I just fed myself. I just had my breakfast. Had my kimchi, had my eggs, some refried beans. I have to get some more eggs at the little house. We're out of eggs. I eat egg beaters a lot. Egg beaters are the whites of the eggs, for those who don't know what egg beaters are. But anyway, so my mama's still sleeping, and I'm sitting here in the chair, her former chair that I have confiscated. But I was thinking of something. Somebody was writing something, and it's not anybody I know. So, it's something to do with, when their husband, when they first met their husband. I'm reading this story. When I first met my husband, within a week, he was asking me to marry him and da 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 da, all this stuff. And I'm thinking, oh God, is this going to be a story of immigration fraud? Is this going to be, he took out a life insurance policy or something? And it wasn't that. They're happily married. And, they have a couple of kids and they've been married a long time. And I thought, wow, okay, that's a nice story. But then it brought back memories of different people that I've known and different marriages. And it's kind of like it's a mixed bag. And I was kind of thinking, okay, let me make a video like this, like the things that Laura has learned about relationships. Or by reading stories. One thing I think, now this is generalizing, so I'm not trying to pick on anybody or make anybody feel bad or trying to label anybody, because we can't do that. I've always said there's 4 girls in my family. I'm the last of 4, and each one of us are so uniquely different, raised by the same parents, environment, whatever, that there's no way to really clump all men into one category, or all women, or even certain cultures into one thing. We can't do that. We're all individuals, but yeah, we do follow certain cultural norms, tend to, but and our language carries our culture, the food we eat, everything, the music we listen to, the things we grew up with, whatever. Okay, let me stay on track. Gotta stay on track. I think when a man at a certain age meets a woman, he can look at her and know if that woman is somebody he would marry. I think he knows a lot quicker than women do. I really do. I think men seem, this is just, I could be wrong, but it just seems that way, that they know. However, many couples are together that never marry, and it's almost like, why aren't they married? Like the woman wants to be married. I'm saying the woman wants to be married. These are the couples that are like, the woman wants to be married, and the guy is saying, I'm not ready. It's not the right time. Um, you know, it's just, a piece of paper, that kind of guy. Now, there's plenty of people that I know, they're not, married, and they love each other and they're committed. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about women who hang on to men, a woman that, and mainly younger women, like younger women, okay, women that maybe haven't had children yet. Okay, let's say you're a woman that hasn't had children yet. You're looking for that husband and you're thinking you're with this guy, and, he's the one, but he's not ready yet to get married. So you spend years with him. Now you're in this relationship for years, trying to, wait for that perfect time to get married or whatever. So anyway, then things start going sideways and, whatever, and you break up with them. And then shortly after, maybe in a matter of, weeks, you might see he's dating somebody else. And then maybe less than a year later, he's married somebody else. And it's like, oh my God, like, what's that? And the thing is, you just weren't the one for him. And so possibly, he's stringing you along because he doesn't want to be alone. You're better than nothing. And it's not saying you're a bad person. It's just you are not the one for him. A man, I believe, if he sees the one for him, he wants to, quote unquote, take her off the market. He wouldn't want to risk that she's going to meet somebody, because he knows how men are. Some men are out there and they are seeking somebody to spend their life with. They really are. They are. They want to have somebody that they can settle down with. They want to have somebody they can build a family with, but it has to be the right woman. And there's nothing defining what it is to be the right woman. You need to be yourself. You need to be who you are out there. And everybody should present themselves like they are, not some fake facade that, if you're somebody who isn't like the galloping gourmet or whatever, or doesn't like to cook, and you're sitting there cooking all these meals for this guy to try to get him, because get a guy with his stomach or whatever, but you really hate to cook and you're really ordering out from a restaurant, but then flipping it on a plate, acting like you cooked it, it might be a problem in the future. Present yourself honestly. I mean, I'm serious. There's people, they do all kinds of things, from, maybe wearing a lot of like makeup and the eyes and the hair and this and that, and then all of a sudden that's not really who they are, and then the mask comes off. I always think of it as they call it makeup, but it's almost like mask up. The makeup has gone so far that it's a mask that is really on the face. Now I'm sitting here, I don't have any makeup on. I have sensitive skin and I don't care anymore. I never was one to run around with a lot of makeup. I don't care. You hit a certain age, trust me, you start caring less about that superficial stuff, or at least I hope you do. I'm not saying that you go around, walking around looking like a dirty slob or something. But yeah, no, I haven't combed my hair yet this morning. But I think, considering, I just woke up and I thought of this as I'm reading stuff, I don't think it looks that bad. Anyway, so no, if you find yourself, any of this resonating with you young women, and you do want children and you want to have that like nuclear family type thing, don't waste your time on a guy that doesn't know, that is stringing you along and you're into this relationship. And I'm talking about a few years, where it's like, you're like, I know you're the one for me, honey, and da 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 da, I'm just not ready yet. And marriage is just a piece of paper. Because then some of those guys will marry you. They will marry you because they're afraid they're going to lose you. But just remember, he said marriage is just a piece of paper. He's told you what he's thought about marriage. And then you have people that have been together a long time and they get married, and then the marriage doesn't even last. And it's like, wow, how does that happen? But this, I'm not speaking, if somebody sees this and you know me personally and you're in this situation, like where you've been with somebody, I'm not talking about you. It's just something came through Facebook. This lady was showing her family and how she had met her husband, and how her family disowned her. They didn't like him, and he knew right away he wanted to marry. And I'm thinking it's going to have this horrible, ending. And it just brought that to my mind, that I think men know. They know what they want. I think. Am I giving men too much credit? Am I not giving women enough credit? I don't know. I think we can do better though. On, maybe we need to go back on arranged marriages. Sometimes I think, when you see cultures that have arranged marriages, that, the families know their children, but we're stuck on that. Like, we want to have that individual choice and want to be in love. And I got to read another fairy tale, got to get my fairy tales in, my old style fairy tales from the 1900s, how they were written. Brutal. Anyway, I am Laura at Laura Talks Softer with my random channel, and I'm going to post this, and I don't know, I don't know who it will come across hearing it, but I wish you well. It doesn't apply to everybody, so I'm not trying to ruin anybody's day, and but I just want you to kind of take a look at how the person you're with is treating you, because people can say a lot of words. I love you, baby. They can whisper a lot sweet nothings in your ear, but their actions, you got to look at a man's actions. Are his actions matching his words? That is so important. Not, well, he said this and this and this. That's just nonsense. What does he do? What does he do? That man is what he does. And I'm not talking about what job he holds. I'm talking about how he carries himself at whatever job he holds. Is he honest? Does he show up on time? Is he stealing stuff from work? Is he hanging out with his female coworkers, or maybe male coworkers? Maybe he's on the down low. I don't know. It's a whole different world. I'm speaking on heterosexual relationships, by the way, not on same-sex relationships. I did read that the happiest married couples are gay
Do
men.
I swim for
They're the
the boat
happiest.
and make sure I'm safe, or do I go back
Lesbian
to my
couples and heterosexual couples score lower.
this is a time where you're tested,
Anyway, have a good day.
you're